What's going on YouTube? Is yours truly Dretheplug back in the mix with some new technical heat. Usually I review products, I get sponsored by products, but in this particular video, this is actually a product that I invented for the deaf community. So I first showcased it in March and it started to bubble. A lot of people in Detroit, they really liked it and they really enjoyed it. And it was like, hey, yo, Dre, you got to take this to DeafNation. What's DeafNation, you guys ask? DeafNation is the biggest deaf event in the country. Actually, it's the biggest deaf event in the world. And everybody was like, Andre, you got to get a booth. You need to showcase this. You need to get exposure to this. And different people first within Detroit was people that I typically sold to first. And all of them kept telling me that. And then I posted it on Facebook and other social media platforms. And everybody was just like, Dre, you definitely got to take this to DeafNation. Over and over again, I'm just getting different people that's like messaging me, contacting me about getting this to DeafNation and showcasing it there. And it just wouldn't be me if I didn't have a J. Cole hoodie on my body. If you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, these days, you kind of got to have a visual that is really you because AI getting kind of crazy. But anyways, what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of just break down some of the key points, some of the highlights of different things and different people who came up to me and spoke to me. I'm going to touch on those. And if you want to actually get the full breakdown of everything that went down with this in particular person, just hit me up on the gram, Dretheplug123, or just, text me if you family and friends and all that good stuff. And I'll let you know exactly what went down in that particular moment. So as you can see, we have finally made it to Vegas and I am here in my booth and I'm highly appreciative of the spot. It is filled up to the brim. Every single booth is filled. I could definitely tell that this is a legit conference because it's no space, no opening spaces, no, oh, I came here last minute, can I get a booth? Everything is packed to the brim and I'm lucky to even be here and be selected on a world level stage, so I'm extra happy that they got me the booth. They got my name tag and everything, got me feeling official. And then on top of that, I had to go and buy some more sign posters because all of them broke in my luggage. So then I just hurried up and went, threw on my hoodie, getting ready for the first day, threw on a couple name tags on top of the Dretheplug, made sure the hoodie was nice and clean, and kind of just set up shop a little bit and put everything in order and slowly start getting ready for the conference. So jumping into it, let's get to it. So first and foremost, I really just wanted to give you guys a vlog style of how the conference was even set up before I go back to my booth, because it's literally just me. I don't want to have those things just going and everybody looking at it and I'm not there and some come up missing, and we don't want nothing to happen to nobody. So I was like, you know what, let me just go by the entire conference and just showcase everything that's going on. Make sure that, we actually get a good visual of what the DeafNation event actually looks like. And I know people down the line are also going to be like, dang, I remember when I went to the DeafNation event in 2025. Let me actually go see if there's some content online from when I had went. So I'm going to make that content. And in the midst of it, I'm also going to touch on my key points. So jumping into my first key point, right? So it was a lady who had came by my booth. She was super energetic. She was super hyped. She was like, oh snap, I've been looking all over for you. And I'm just confused because the way she reacted was, you would think that we was related or something and I was a long lost cousin. But she was just like, yo, I've been looking all over for you. I've been trying to find you. And I'm just wondering, like, what is this lady talking about? I'm so confused. And she like grabbed one of my cards. She was like, finally, I got your contact information. So I was like, what do you mean? Like, how do you know me? And she was like, the smaller one, like my tiny TS. She was like, I bought one of your smaller ones when you first started selling them, but I never met you in person. I just can tell by your name. So I was like, dang, so you must be in Michigan, because when I first started selling them, I was only selling them in Michigan. And she was like, yeah, I'm in Michigan. Then I was like, that's the only thing that makes sense. Or organization, they asked for a batch of them, and lo and behold, literally today, I just got an email today that that same organization want to buy another batch of them today. And she just so happened to get one, and she was just like, yeah, but I never got your contact because I never met you in person or got your card. It was just that the organization just showcased it and said it was a guy named Andre Brown who made them. So then now she's confused because she's like, how do you know that I'm from Michigan? And I was like, I know you from Michigan because when I first started selling them, I only sold to a deaf organization that was in Detroit. So the only way that you could have got one that was that early on was that you were inside of that organization. So she was like, wow, that's pretty crazy. I'm like, yeah, it's crazy how the world works. So then she also touched on the fact that she was higher up on the board in that organization. So now she's like, I would love for you to showcase at this event that we're going to have for our organization in 2 weeks. So now I got a whole nother showcase that I'm about to do all over again. So of course I had all type of people that was coming to my booth, just giving me this amazing feedback, all explaining to me how they have never seen this before and how different people were breaking down different ways that they would use it. And it was interesting because it was people from all around the world. Like it was people who came up to me that only spoke French. It was people who were from China. It was people from Canada, Montreal. And even with the translating, usually you do the sign and then you could do the English translate or just type what you have to say. I had to go to a translator to switch from their language to mine, but the technical heat still prevailed. I still was able to bridge that gap to get that technical heat connection to then make that technical spark sale. So jumping into the latest iteration of the technical spark. So this is the latest one created by Jimmy Meekin. Shout out to Jimmy. He a mechanical engineer. He worked at General Motors with me. Unfortunately, he an ME, but y'all know EEs is the best of the best. But this is the latest iteration of the technical spark. As you can see, you have the purple color at the top and you have the black at the bottom. He can literally pick any color that you want. So if you're interested in that version, just let me know. And same thing with the light. The light can still be whatever color you want. So you can get the color of the sculpture, the color of the base, and then the color of the light of your choosing, if that's something that you will want. All right, so jumping into another keynote. So I ended up bumping into a guy who was also an electrical engineer, just like yours truly. He retired from SpaceX. He lived out in Utah, and he was doing the exact same thing as me. He was showcasing an invention for the deaf community, just as I was. And I really liked it. His was basically like a clock for deaf people, because obviously clocks tend to, make noise and vibrate, and that's usually how people get alerted to wake up and, move forward with the alert. With his clock, it basically have a built-in flash at the top where it just beams light extremely bright to wake deaf people up since they can't hear. So I thought that was extremely dope, and he was telling me about his whole engineering process on that. I got all of his contact and all that good stuff, and he had multiple different inventions on top of that he done created, but he was selling 2 of them. The other one was like a remote / cell phone that's the size of an iPad, and the other one was a clock. And we ended up actually trading inventions because I was like, why not? I'd love to get one of your inventions, and he liked mine. So then we basically swapped. His name is Harry Gibbons Jr. He's also a deaf interpreter, and on top of that, he was giving me some game on the patent attorney route, and he was telling me how he had a really good relationship with his patent attorney in Utah. So what I'm going to do now is kind of move forward and start comparing the prices out here in Michigan with the patent attorney that I have out here versus the patent attorney that he's in good contacts with out there in Utah. So that's gonna be a fire connect in the future. This is Joel Barish. This is the CEO of DeafNation. Of course, I couldn't have left the event without giving him a glass piece technical spark, because it was the only thing that would have made sense. Joel was the one who even got me into the DeafNation event and actually got me my booth. So another highlight was an established company actually approached me and told me that, we'll love to incorporate your invention to our app, because they were saying that they was having issues with the users being able to be notified when they were able to get alerts from their app specifically. So I was like, dang, like that do make perfect sense, because if the app isn't able to alert you in the sense of like a phone call would with the flash, and ideally they have their own way of notifying the user, but it's not a flash for the update or for the notification, that would be the only way or another solution to knowing whether or not you're gonna have a notification within that interpreter app. So I was like, wow, that do make perfect sense. So I got their contact information. They were super hyped, super energized about the invention itself. I wasn't expecting to get a full-blown established company to approach me and say that they can incorporate it with an app. So in the midst of me actually showcasing the technical spark and all of the different versions and breaking it down, it was actually somebody who was in the crowd who was like, yo, I would really love to invest into this. So now moving forward, they were just saying like, I like how it is. I like how it works. I like how snappy it is. I'd love to incorporate this with another project that I'm working on. And I'll definitely like for you, if you could come on board with me with some other projects that I have cooked up also. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. I legit have an investor that's willing to invest, and we're going to move forward. We're going to have a meeting tomorrow morning. So I'm looking forward to that and seeing how all of that play out. So that was the ultimate task, the ultimate keynote out of all of this was that I got an investor on my very first official showcase. So that concludes this video. Thank you for everybody or anybody that helped make this possible. Shout out to Joel, shout out to Marcus Brown for helping me complete the mission. But if you guys have any additional questions when it comes down to expanding any of those keynotes and you want to have the full story of any of the keynotes or want some information or even contact, just hit me up and I'll elaborate a little bit more. Also hit me up on Instagram at Dretheplug123 if you're trying to get in touch with me. I'll catch you. Till next time.